Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. In today's video, I've got a tutorial for you, full makeup, get ready with me. We're gonna do it chatty style. This is the tutorial for a look that I wore in my last two videos that you guys went crazy for. All the comments were for a tutorial for the look, so I had to recreate the look here for you today. I wish I had filmed it before I put the videos up, but you know, you never know what kind of a look people are going to go for, and it was such a minimal makeup look. Like the eyeshadow was definitely very minimal. Let me bring in a little video of it from one of those videos to show you what it looked like. We're going to try to match it. I thought I would start with, you know, clean face, just my skincare on. Hair is still wet, and I'm going to put on my sunscreen because I think my sunscreen combo that day was part of getting that kind of tan, glowy look that you guys love so much. You know, a lot of you commented on my tan. As you know, I don't tan. I don't let my face out in the sun anymore, ever. This is just my natural skin tone. I'm not super pale. I'm like a light medium, but I did switch up my sunscreen combo that day, and I used a sunscreen that was a little bit darker than the one I normally mix in. So my Holy Grail sunscreen combo is the Ulta MD UV Elements SPF 44, and this is like kind of the base of my face sunscreen every day. I use about 4 pumps of this, and then I generally mix in a little 1/4 of a pump of another sunscreen. The one I usually use is the Paula's Choice Super Light SPF 30, which is paler and a little bit cooler than this one. And I had been using that one for a long time because I really like how it works with makeup, but it was making this a little bit lighter and cooler. But the other day I tried mixing in a little bit of a different sunscreen instead, and I used my other Holy Grail sunscreen, the Australian Gold Botanical SPF 50 Tinted Face Lotion BB Cream for medium to tan skin. So this one's a little bit darker, and I think that kind of gave me the darker base to start with. So you see I've got my 4 pumps of Ulta MD here, and I'm just going to add in about that much of the Australian Gold. And then the foundation that I used is a new foundation that I just did the Foundation Friday on Friday, and I really like it, but I purchased 2. The first one I thought was too dark and too red. The second one I think is also a little bit too dark because I think it might oxidize a little bit, and it makes me look a little bit tanner. So when you guys saw me looking all tan and golden the other day, it was not because I had a tan, it was because of the combination of this sunscreen and that foundation. These two almost work as a primer because they smooth over pores, they start color correcting a little bit so that I can use less makeup. Now this needs about 15 to 20 minutes to dry and set up, so I'm going to go upstairs and dry my hair and fix up my roots, and then I'll be back and we'll continue on with the tutorial. All right, you guys, I'm back. Hair is all dried and curled. In that video, a lot of you guys asked me about my hair color, if I was still doing it myself. The answer is yes. I just colored it a few weeks ago, and I am still using the same color kits that I showed you last time. The base is Esalon, and the highlights are that L'Oreal cap kit that I think I showed you in the last hair coloring video. So I'll link that video up here if you guys want to see how to color your own hair at home. I do the highlights separate, and I love this kit and how it comes out. Let me bring you in a little bit closer so we can start in on the makeup. Okay, I always start in by putting on my eyelid primer first to give that a chance to set up. I'm using the usual Fenty Amplify primer. If you are over 50 and you're not using an eyeshadow primer, I suggest that you get one because, I don't know, it just keeps your eyeshadow in place. Everyone I know who doesn't use one, I always see that their eyeshadow is creased up in the crease by the end of the day, and I'm sure they're not happy about that when they look in the mirror at night. And just adding a lid primer will help with that a lot. All right, the foundation I used in that video was the new one from IT Cosmetics. It's the Your Skin But Better Foundation Plus Skincare. I have it in 31 Medium Neutral, and I think I used about 1.5 pumps of this because the pumps are really small. And of course I am using my BK Beauty 101 brush. This has become my absolute favorite foundation brush for applying foundation. I think it just makes every foundation go on better, even better than a sponge, if you can believe that. Like, I had never met a foundation brush that I liked before. I met the BK Beauty 101, and now this is like the only thing that I use to put on my foundation. Like when I'm testing foundations for Foundation Friday, I still use a sponge just to see how the foundation goes on with a sponge, but when I'm applying my makeup, you know, for me, on an everyday basis, this is the guy that I use. And I just use these kind of like stippling motions with it. I didn't use a primer that day because I think this foundation is actually a little bit smoothing on its own. You know, it's not going to make your pores disappear, but it is just the slightest bit smoothing, so I didn't feel like it needed a primer. It does need help lasting longer on the skin, so I will be using a setting spray. I just love the finish on this foundation. It's so pretty. I think it's like my new favorite. It gives kind of sheer to medium coverage depending on how much you use. So it'll give you a nice natural look, but yet it'll cover up your age spots pretty well. So back to the hair. For those of you who are interested in the styling tools, I just did my blowout with my Dyson Airwrap. I love that tool for the blowout. I really don't use the Airwrap part at all. I think that definitely needs some work, like they need to improve it, but I do love the blowout attachment. Like the paddle brush attachment is so good. So I never blow dry my hair with like a regular blow dryer and round brush anymore. And then I curled my hair with a new curling iron that I just got. It's the GHD. I think it's the 1 1.5 inch curling iron. Picked that one up in the Nordstrom sale and I really love it. It's so easy to use and I like how the waves are a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more beachy. All right, so that's pretty much the foundation. And I think this oxidizes a little bit because, you know, as I wore it, I feel like it got tannier and tannier looking. So I'm just gonna take the little bit that's left on the back of my hand and put that under here so that I am all evened up and I don't have a hard line where my foundation stops and my non-foundationed skin starts. Then I went in with my under eye concealer. As usual, I'm using my favorite Lancome Mackie Complete. I'm just going to pop this on here just a little bit. I just tend to put it at the inner corner and I don't really put any out here, and then I just kind of blend this outward. So that's how I do my under eye concealer. I have a whole video on how to apply under eye concealer to have it be nice and crease free. And I can link that video right up here as well. Oh my gosh, you guys, I woke up with a neck ache this morning. You know how I sleep on my back, elevated on my wedge, but I don't know what happened last night. I woke up, my pillow was like all stuffed over here. I was kind of on my side, and now my neck is killing me. You know, since I started sleeping on my back, I never really wake up with a neck ache or a shoulder ache or a hip ache anymore. And I used to always constantly wake up with like all these aches and things, and I don't since I started sleeping on my back, and I love that. But whew, last night I must have been tossing and turning and rolling, and oh my gosh, because I couldn't believe the state of affairs in there when I woke up, and plus the neck ache. So anyway, I took an Advil and hopefully that will help with the inflammation, and I'm probably gonna like work it out a little bit today. I keep stretching like my neck, but all right. Then I went in with my Honest Beauty Invisible Blurring Loose Powder. It's definitely like nice and blurring and mattifying. So I mattified under my eyes, probably put some up here because I like to blur out my pores and things. I don't like my lip to look sweaty, and I usually put some on my chin. So those are the places that I powder, and this is a really nice powder. It's kind of a yellowy color, so it brightens, but it also doesn't whiten. So I like that about it. And then I'm just going to dust off the brush and remove any excess. And the brush I was using for that is the e.l.f. blush brush. This is a $3 brush. I have like 3 or 4 of these. I love them. Then I went in with my Buxom Staycation bronzer, and I used the BK Beauty 102 brush for that. You guys, I have a 10% off code at BK Beauty if you wanted to pick up BK Beauty brushes at a discount. I will link it in the info box below the video, but I love a lot of their brushes. Like this one has become my favorite bronzer brush. So I just start way up in my hairline applying my bronzer, and I love this big fluffy brush because it really diffuses it out. And you're going to put it on differently depending on what your face shape is, but you know, I get a little like wide up here, so I tend to bronze the corners of my forehead to kind of reduce the size of my forehead. And then I just do a little bit of, you know, trying to carve out those cheekbones at the back here. I don't really bring it down to the front, and because as you can see, I'm hollow enough in there as it is naturally, so I don't need any extra shadow making in there. Then I just do some under the jaw here because I have a little bit of sagging going on there, so I try to disguise that a little bit with the bronzer. I used to do that on the sides of my nose, but I've stopped doing that. I noticed on videos it made my nose seem like really severe looking, so I don't do that anymore. So, you know, you can just, you know, if you try something and you think it looks good for a while, but then you notice that maybe you don't look the same, maybe that's why, and you can switch it up a little bit. So that's all I did with the bronzer, but that added to the overall kind of golden, glowy goddess look to the thing. Then I went in with my Glossier Cloud Paint. This is in the color Beam. And you guys, thank you so much for the tip. This is a new one. Rather than pulling off the little cap there, just poke a hole in it because this stuff comes out really, really fast and you always get too much. I just poked the tiniest hole in it with a paper clip. Just put some of that out on the back of my hand, then I pick some up on my middle finger, and I just tap that on my cheeks, working from back to front. And I kind of go in like a big circly motion. And that's the blush. And this has a really nice like glowy, dewy finish to it. Then I put on my highlighter. I use the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion in 903 Medium Glow. Squeeze a little bit of that out on the back of my hand. Pick up a little bit off there with my finger, starting high on the cheekbones. I just bring that straight forward in a nice straight line. And then I take a little bit more and I just pop that right on the front of my cheek. And again, as usual, whenever I use highlighter like this on the fronts of my cheeks, I got a couple of comments saying that I've been overdoing it with the filler. You guys know I haven't gotten a filler in my cheeks in, what's it been, 5 years now? And then I set my face with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray because I don't get the longest wear out of this foundation without the setting spray, but with this I get 10 hours of good solid wear out of it. And I like to put on my setting spray before I do my eyes. The only thing I don't like about this product is the smell. Too much fragrance for me, but otherwise it really, really works well. And what I love most about it is it doesn't change the finish of the foundation. It doesn't make you like super glowy like some of them do, and it's not full of SD alcohol, so it's okay for people with dry skin to be spraying it on your face. Okay, for the eyeshadow, I use the Tarte Tartelette in Bloom palette. I wasn't thinking of doing a tutorial, so I don't know exactly which shades I use, but I have a pretty good idea. But anyway, I'm absolutely sure that I started off with this shade here, the lightest in the palette, called Charmer. And I'm using my It Cosmetics 112 brush, and I'm going to pack that on the movable lid. And I'm just working it back and forth in like little rainbow motions. You can also put it on from the crease down to your eyelashes if your skin tugs and wrinkles up a lot when you're going back and forth. And I also put just a little bit, since this is a matte shade, right underneath my eyebrow. Next I went in with my BK Beauty 202 brush, and this shade here, Flower Child. Just going to roll the brush in there, pick up some of that color, and this is going to be my crease color. This is so pale. Depending on your skin tone, it may be medium on you, or it may come off like too light, in which case you may need to pick up one of the other colors. If your skin is darker than mine, you may need a slightly darker crease tone, in which case you could use Smarty Pants. But I'm just going to drag this from about 3/4 of the way up to my eyebrow down to my eyelashes. and then start working it across by putting the tip of the brush deep in the crease and just making circular motions following the curve of that crease. And you can see how that spreads some of the color up here above the crease as well as a little bit below the crease. I'm just going to go up a little bit higher with that just to make sure that I make this puff of skin kind of recede a little bit. Then I went in with my MAC 221 and this shade Smarty Pants. I'm just going to pick up the tiniest bit of that color on the tip of my brush, and then I'm going to just work that right over where I put Flower Child, deep in the crease. I'm going to bring it down to my eyelashes, from just in the crease to down to my eyelashes, and then again make those same tiny little circular motions. I don't want this to get dark or smoky. This was like a really natural looking day look. Then I'm going to go back to the BK Beauty 202 and blend that out. Then I'm going to go in with my Sigma E56 lid shader and this Pale Shimmer Shadow Funny Girl. Lay that on my eyelid using an up and down motion and then run it back and forth. And I want to say that was it for the eyeshadow that day. I think what you guys loved about it is that it was a really minimal makeup look, and for some reason it just looks so youthful and so fresh. I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye off camera, so I'll be right back to do the eyeliners and the lippy. All right, for the eyeliners, I had used my favorite Marc Jacobs highliners. I grabbed two new ones because I think my favorite color, Think, has been discontinued. So I grabbed this one, which is called Overnight. It's a really dark blue. And I grabbed another one of my faves, which is Lunatic, that I haven't had good luck with in the past because it dried out, but I'm hoping that I just gotten a bad one then. I used the darker navy blue one on the upper lashes, and all I did was tightline. So you just kind of jam it at the base of your lashes and just run it back and forth. This is the best waterproof eyeliner because I do wear contacts. You know, when you put other eyeliners on, it immediately coats your contact lens with eyeliner. But this one, the Marc Jacobs, this is why they're worth it, because they don't do that. Like literally, it's waterproof. You put it on and it stays in place. Then I went in with the Lavender Shimmer Lunatic at the lower lashes. There's just something about using like a paler shimmery color on the lower lash line that's so much more youthful looking than like the full rim of a dark color. So it's a really great daytime look. So I just love that look. So tell me, you guys, are you looking forward to fall? I'm not a big fan of fall, only because it means that winter's coming and I hate winter. And I love summer, so fall means summer's over and winter's coming. And I'm never happy about that, but I do kind of like getting new sweaters and stuff like that. So that's what I like about fall, and sometimes wearing socks, but in general I like having my toesies out. I like it when the weather's warm. So not my favorite, but winter is absolutely my worst time of year. All right, so the mascara I'm going to use is my current favorite. It is the L'Oreal Unlimited mascara. Then I did my brows that day with the Glossier Boy Brow, and this one is in Blonde. I like this. It's just like a little brow mascara. It just helps to hold the hairs in place because my brow hairs have gotten so long from using Babe Lash over the last few months. Probably been about 6 months since I restarted with Babe Lash. You know, I was using New Lash. Did not like that one at all. So I switched back to my Babe Lash and my Revitalash about 6 months ago, and man, can I see the difference. After I put that on, I do like to just kind of run through it with a spoolie. For the lippy, I've been using my favorite lip combo of the summer, which is the Wayne Goss Trio. Cannot get enough of these. This is the Wayne Goss Essential Lip Pencil in Natural Berry. I'm just going to go ahead and align my lips. Then on top of that, I put on the Wayne Goss lipstick in Daisy. It's a really pretty, like, peachy nude. Then I always put a little bit of the Wayne Goss gloss in Tulip over the top. I just put like a little dab on each of the points of my lips, and then a little bit more in the center of the bottom lip. Smear those two together. The look is done. Let's zoom you back out. All right, so this is the look from the video the other day. That's pretty much how I got it. You do the beachy waves with the hair with whatever curling iron you have, and then you do the golden goddess makeup with the very subtle eye and the nude lip, and you will look like $1,000,000. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial today, found it helpful and informative. If you did, go ahead and give the video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell while you're down there. As always, I thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.